Hey, welcome to Happy's Bar, where my goal is to share cocktails, content, and happiness. Today, we got another spring cocktail straight off my spring craft cocktail menu, inspired by the late, great Hunter S Thompson, baby. This cocktail, it's made with bourbon, it's made with Meletti Amaro, it's made with Lychee Liqueur. We got lemon juice going in there. We're gonna make an IPA syrup, liquid hops. We're gonna make our own little homemade Tajin here, some lemon juice, top that baby with soda water to get some bubbles. This cocktail is a light, bright bourbon cocktail with a little spice on the lip, baby. So, with all that being said, this cocktail is called the Professional Voice. So I know you heard me ramble off a lot of things there. I promise you this cocktail is way more simple than it sounds. So here's the build for the Professional Voice. 1.5 ounces of bourbon, 3/4 ounce lemon juice, 3/4 ounce IPA syrup, 1/4 ounce of that Lychee Liqueur, and 1/4 ounce of Meletti Amaro. 1 full dropper of liquid hops. We're gonna shake that, double strain it, serve that over ice into a Collins glass, top that off with some soda water, and we're gonna garnish that with our own little Tajin Happiness Bar concoction here. We do have a little bit of prep work to do. It's not a lot. All we gotta do is make our IPA syrup, make our homemade Tajin, or our version of Tajin, juice some lemons, and then we'll be ready to rip and make this cocktail. With all that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into the prep work. The tools you're gonna need for the prep. You're gonna need a cutting board. You're gonna need a tablespoon and a 1/2 teaspoon. You're gonna need a knife. You're gonna need a kitchen scale, something that can weigh out grams. You're gonna need a zester. You are gonna need a citrus juicer. You're gonna need a spice grinder or a mortar and pestle. You're gonna need a bar spoon or something you can stir with. You're gonna need a pot, and you're gonna need some sealable storage containers. All right, so the first bit of prep we're gonna start with is we're gonna make our IPA syrup. Now, our ratio for our IPA syrup is a pretty simple 1-to-1 ratio. So we're gonna do 250 grams of whatever your favorite IPA is, whatever you can find in the store. I'm using Lagunitas, a little something. It's a smooth and silky wheat IPA. Sounded good to me. So go with whatever your favorite IPA is. I like to lean a little more like, I don't know, East Coasty, something a little more citrusy. So 250 grams of whatever your favorite IPA is, and 250 grams of sugar. So let's grab our kitchen scale. Let's grab a container, place it on that scale. Make sure your scale is zeroed out. And we're gonna weigh out 250 grams of our little IPA here. Very nice. All right, 250 grams, let's go. I know this is not how you're supposed to pour a beer. Doesn't really matter here. The weight is what the weight is. Ooh, 250 grams and a little left over for me. All right, so add that to the pot. Get it all. Every bit of that foam. Got another container, place it on the scale, still make sure the scale is zeroed out, and we're gonna weigh out 250 grams of sugar. $250 grams of sugar into the pot with our beer. All right, now let's go ahead and turn that burner on. We're gonna kick it onto our medium-high heat. Gonna grab our bar spoon, and we're just gonna give that a little stir to mix the sugar in. Obviously this is beer, so you're gonna notice it froth, especially as it starts to heat and boil. That's okay. As this sugar sits, the longer you have it, the less bubbles you'll see in it, the more flat it'll go, which is perfectly fine. We don't have to worry about it going flat or anything. Works perfectly fine flat. We're using this for the flavor. So we're just gonna bring that up to just about a boil, allow all that sugar to dissolve, and then we'll kick it off the heat, let it cool. So while I'm waiting for that to come up to a boil, I'm gonna grab the container I'm gonna store in, label and date, just like always. And guys, I mean, it's beer, it's sugar. I don't think you have to worry too much about a shelf life, but again, I don't like to keep things longer than really a month if I don't have to, so I wouldn't recommend keeping this for longer than a month, so keep your shelf life up to a month refrigerated on this one. And this will bubble as it cooks, guys, releasing all the gases, so don't mistake that for it boiling just yet. You will notice when it comes up to a boil. All right, guys, this syrup's starting to come to a boil. I'm gonna turn it off the heat. I'm gonna give it one last stir. All right, I'm just gonna let this cool in the pot for a few so that way the bubbles and stuff all calm down before I pour it into my container here. So while I'm waiting on that to cool, I'm gonna go ahead and just get my citrus juiced real quick. So we got our cutting board, our knife, and our citrus juicer. A couple of these nice little lemons here. Give them a cut. Grab our citrus juicer. Squeeze them up. And double strain. Once, twice. Label and date your lemon juice, good for 2 days. Throw it out on the 3rd day. All right, our lemon juice is done. Get that cleaned up. We got our container for our beer syrup. I'm just gonna go ahead and pour that in to my storage container. You'll notice there's still a little bit of froth on that. It is beer. Not all the gases have released yet, but they will. So on this one, when you store it, I like to put the lid on, but leave a little side open just so it has room to release any of the gas, anything like that. All right, guys, so we got our IPA syrup done. Our lemons are juiced. Last thing we gotta do is we gotta make that little happiness bar version of Tajin. All right, so for our Tajin, we're gonna need our spice grinder or a mortar and pestle. All right, so once you have your spice grinder or mortar and pestle, we're gonna start with 3 tablespoons of dried red pepper flakes. Now you can buy yours. I happened to make these not too long ago, and I used dried Chinese peppers and basically just coated them just a touch of vegetable oil, and then I toasted them in the oven. I believe it was like 350 for maybe 10 minutes, give or take, just so you started to smell them. Then I ground it up into a pepper flake. Now I'm about to grind it up even finer for this Tajin. So we got 3 tablespoons of red pepper flake. And this shit's gonna be hot. We're also gonna need a tablespoon of salt. Gonna need a ½ teaspoon of a little peppercorn blend. I'm using a white, pink, and black peppercorn blend here. So a ½ teaspoon of peppercorns, a ½ teaspoon of smoked paprika. And we're gonna go with a little ¼ teaspoon of cumin. Lastly, we need the zest of 1 lemon. So I'm just gonna zest this right over top of this little container, and then I'll pour it all in there. All right, lemon is zested. Let's go ahead and pour that into the mixture, into the spice grinder. Make sure we get all of that. Now, I'm gonna wanna pulse this until it's a fine powder. Same thing if you're using a mortar and pestle, you want it to be a fine powder. We're just gonna let this baby grind it out. Side note, be careful when you take the lid off, right? We're using hot chili flakes, so it becomes a powder, you can breathe it in, it can make you cough, and it hurts. So I'm gonna try to, you can tell it already still needs to be ground up really fine. Let's take a quick peek. Get my face away. Oh yeah. We're just, ooh, I don't know if you could see that, but smoke came out of there. I don't want to breathe it. I know it's gonna hurt. When I made these dried pepper flakes, it hurt. All right. So a little disclaimer, be careful. Take a, I told you, it hurts. I'm gonna take a container. I'm gonna try not to breathe. I'm gonna pour it into there. There you have it, guys. Our own little homemade happiness bar version of Tajin. Get a little taste of this bad boy. Yeah, nice spice. Wow, really nice spice. Little pepperiness, you get a little bit of that lemon zest, which is nice. This is gonna be great on the rim of this cocktail. Definitely gonna put a lid on that so I don't breathe any more in. We'll label and date it. Now, it's mostly dried. You're pretty good on shelf life. The thing I'd be more worried about is the lemon zest, but I'd say you can keep it for at least a month in your cabinet, whatever. Everything, the salt, everything should be preserved. You can probably keep it for longer. Just really keep an eye on it and make sure the pepper. It's still fresh. It still has its flavor. You're not seeing any kind of moisture or anything in there. We're ready to shake up some cocktails, so let's get making the professional voice. I went ahead and put my IPA syrup in this cheater bottle here, my lemon juice in the cheater bottle here. We still got our Tajin here. We are ready to roll. This is a shaking cocktail. Let's grab our shaker tin. And we're gonna need our jigger. And we're also gonna need our glassware. So, first things first, cheapest ingredients, most expensive ingredients. We're gonna start with a 3/4 ounce lemon juice. 3/4 ounce IPA syrup. Our 1/4 ounce of that Giffard Lychee Liqueur. 1/4 ounce of our Meletti Amaro. 1.5 ounces of our bourbon. Next, we need 1 full dropper of our liquid hops. And last thing, before we go icing our glassware, we gotta put that Tajin on the glass. So what I'm gonna do is just put a little bit of honey in this dish here. Not a lot, I just want something that it can stick to on the glass. And I'm just gonna roll half of the glass in the Tajin. That way, not every sip is a spicy sip. You can take a spicy sip, you can take a sip to cool your mouth down, you can take a spicy sip, you can take a sip to cool your mouth down. World is your oyster. Here we go. So, I'm just going to rotate half of the glass in our honey, shake off any additional, and I'm gonna grab our Tajin, and I'm just gonna dip the glass right down in there. Oh yeah, I want it to be good on there, right? Beautiful. Beautiful Tajin rim. All right, so we got that done. Next, let's go ahead and ice our shaker tin and ice our glassware. Ice that shaker tin all the way to the top with ice. Ice that glassware all the way to the top. Be careful not to knock all the Tajin off. Some will go into the cocktail, that's fine. Let's go ahead and seal up our shaker tin and let's shake for 12 seconds as always. "12 seconds, crack that shaker tin." Let's go ahead and grab both our basket and our Hawthorne strainer. Strain that cocktail up. Get it all out of there. Top her off with some sparkling water, some club soda here. Right to the top. And let's agitate that cocktail to blend in the soda. And there you have it, guys. Professional voice. Let's taste. Definitely citrusy. You get the IPA, you can smell the peppered rim. I'm gonna take my first sip from the non-peppery rim, the non-Tajin rim, just so I can taste the cocktail purely, and then I'll take a sip from the Tajin rim and see how it affects it. Really nice. Light and bright. The bubbles are super nice on a spring day, man. When you're hot, it's cooling you down. That lychee really comes through. A touch of bitterness from that Meletti Amaro. It's really nice with the bourbon, man. A nice shaken bourbon cocktail is so nice with the citrusiness of the lemon and a little bitterness and a little bit of that IPA beerish note, man. So you got a little whiskey beer cocktail here with some nice fruity elements. It's really, really nice. Let's go for the Tajin rim sip. Whoa. Whoa. A beautiful pairing with that bright acidic sweetness of the cocktail with the lychee and the lemon. that nice pepperiness, man. It's super spicy, a little salty, and it comes off so slowly because it sticks with that honey. It really is nice. Holy shit. Spicy on the lips, spicy on the tongue, the back of the throat, man. Those good Chinese peppers, man. Those things are nice. Take a nice sip to cool me down and go back for the spice. I love it, I love it, I love it. There it is, guys, the professional voice. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Maybe you made it along with me. Maybe you wrote it down, say, for a later date. Either way, let me know how you're liking everything. And my mouth's watering from the peppers. As always, become a regular somewhere. Become a regular at your local watering hole. It's the best way to support local business. And become a regular here at Happiness Bar by liking, commenting, subscribing. Hit that bell if you want notifications. We got cocktail videos coming out every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern to get you ready for the weekend. Stay happy, everyone.